raising a lot of questions.
It is raising a lot of questions. And, you know, several things, as we all know, went wrong last week. First of all, police had the wrong man. It was a case of mistaken identity. Now, the arresting detectives were not wearing body cameras either, which are mandatory. And they did not have radios to call for help. They had to rely on WhatsApp.
So you're telling me that the NYPD cannot afford radios? And due to the poor communication, it was a case of mistaken identity. The guy that they caught inside of a store and beat to a bloody pulp was actually a security guard that was on his day off, just trying to go buy a drink, show up to a store, and this is what happened.
A violent mistaken identity arrest in Brooklyn, raising questions about some NYPD practices. Welcome back to the 5 o'clock news. I'm Steve Lacey.
And I'm Natasha Verma. And in this new video, you can hear a detective complaining about having to use WhatsApp to communicate instead of radios.
All right, Fox 5's Linda Schmidt obtained this video and has been looking into it. What did you find out? This is raising a lot of questions.
It is raising a lot of questions. And, you know, several things, as we all know, went wrong last week. First of all, police had the wrong man. It was a case of mistaken identity. Now, the arresting detectives were not wearing body cameras either, which are mandatory. And they did not have radios to call for help. They had to rely on WhatsApp. You know the app, WhatsApp. And there were problems with that. You are about to see that. Well, I have obtained some additional video showing one of those detectives complaining about not having the proper equipment last week. Also in that video, we are showing for the first time Timothy Brown's injuries. You will see his face. He is the man who was beaten, and we just want to let you know here, it is hard to watch. The cell phone video showing two narcotics detectives from Brooklyn North repeatedly punching and then one of them kicking Timothy Brown last week has sparked outrage and a slew of questions.
And I'm guessing I don't have to tell you guys that you never see this guy fight back. You never see him take a swing at the police officers. You never see anything. Only thing you see him doing is trying to cover up. He's trying to protect himself from being brutally beaten by two police officers who actually have the wrong guy. And for that, they beat him even worse.
The detectives thought Mr. Brown was part of a drug deal because he matched the description of a suspect. However, this was a case of mistaken identity. Police had the wrong man. And now Fox 5 has obtained this video recorded by a witness showing the injuries Mr. Brown sustained to his face and body. After dragging Brown to the front door of the liquor store, you can see one of the detectives texting and then dialing his phone, trying to get police backup. He was attempting to use WhatsApp to get help, but it appears he could not reach anyone. That same detective is seen later on this video taken by a witness outside the liquor store. The detective is angry and venting that none of the detectives on the team had radios.
Any of these guys don't get a radio ASAP, I'm making a big problem. I'm not doing this WhatsApp no more. I'm not doing this WhatsApp.
He then goes on to say,
How do these guys coming to work unprepared? No one does anything.
If this had been the right guy and he had a firearm on him, they would have to use WhatsApp to call for backup. That's insane.
Tariq Shepard is a retired NYPD deputy commissioner. He says undercover narcotics detectives put their lives on the line. It is dangerous work.
No, I can tell you what's dangerous. Living in New York and being policed by the NYPD, and you go to a store simply to get a drink and you get beat to a bloody pulp because they don't have radios and they're using WhatsApp, and all you were doing was minding your business.
And they need the proper equipment: bulletproof vests, tasers, and radios.
You should have a radio on you to get help when you need it. And as you see, that was a problem here. It took so long for them to find where their guys were and be able to communicate.
Any of these guys don't get a radio ASAP, I'm making a big problem. I'm not doing this WhatsApp no more. I'm not doing this WhatsApp. How do these guys coming to work unprepared? No one does anything.
Last week, Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch announced these two detectives have been placed on modified duty, stripped of their guns and badges.
So the real question here is this. These guys are undercover cops. And when you're an undercover cop, That means you're undercover, you're investigating, you're watching. I mean, you do this for days, weeks, months, sometimes longer than that. And being an undercover cop, you still don't know who your suspect is, and you grab an innocent man shopping in the store and just beat him to a bloody pulp, and you step on him, you kick him, you punch him repeatedly in the face, and they only get modified duty. Yeah, their guns and their badges were taken from them, but they're still working. They have not been arrested. There are no charges. All charges against Mr. Timothy Brown were dropped. He was charged with obstruction. I don't know how. They were dropped, but no charges were filed against these cops, which is ridiculous, but that's it. How can you be on an undercover assignment and not know who you're watching? Yeah.
The NYPD's policy requires narcotics detectives who are making arrests to wear body cameras. That did not happen in this case. The NYPD's Internal Affairs Bureau is investigating how this entire incident was handled. In addition, the chief of department is conducting a 90-day review of the department's entire narcotics division and the use of WhatsApp. Quote, "The entire incident, including the use of equipment, is under internal review." Now, along with the two investigations that are now underway, the two detectives have been placed on modified duty, as well as their sergeant and 6 additional detectives with Brooklyn North Narcotics.
Now, at this part, I want to get your opinion. I want you guys to listen to what's being said by this news station and give me your thoughts, because what I hear and what I think, well, I'll just wait to see what you guys say.
They have been transferred to other precincts, along with the lieutenant and the captain who oversaw that unit.
Yes, wild video. You can hear it clear as day, what these cops are having to deal with, And
the frustration, you can hear in his voice.
The expletives he's dropped. Why are some cops using WhatsApp?
Well, for the same reason everybody uses WhatsApp, right? They want their communications to remain private. But as one of the law enforcement folks that I interviewed there, and many others who I've spoken to, off camera, who are not part of this story, they're all saying the same thing.
So it seems like the news station is more focused on the frustrations of the cops and what they have to deal with and why their job is so horrible, and it needs to be a change so that they can be accommodated and things can be made better for the cops. Never mind that these two cops just went inside of a store and had a brawl. They weren't simply just placing someone under arrest and found out later it was the wrong person. No, they went inside of the store, had a gang fight, jumped this guy, beat him to a bloody pulp, drag him outside, cuff him up, and because they're upset they don't have radios, now the news is like kind of positioning this like poor cops, and the cops need more help, and we need to respect their job, and they have a hard job, when in reality it's the poor citizens who are being abused and killed and arrested by the cops, even when they're innocent, like in this particular video. And if you're tired of me saying this, I have to continue to say it at the end of every video. This is policing in America. You have to stay safe, protect yourself, and make sure you know your rights. With that being said, we the people you, signing off.